Why, as human beings, are we so attracted to the negative? Why, when there are two options in front of us, one thing that could fulfill us and provide value to our lives, and another that will just stroke the flame of our ego or our favorite political issue, despite putting out much more hate into this world and not actually providing value to your life, why do so many of us choose to do the latter option? That's what we're going to discuss today on the Grateful Podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of the Grateful Podcast. This is episode 46, nearing in on 50. Super excited to be growing with you guys. And last week was a big week for the podcast, but it is the reason that I'm having this discussion with you guys today, because I had the most views I've ever had on the podcast last week. On YouTube, I got over 21,000 people to watch my videos. And on Instagram, I think I got over 15,000 people to watch my videos in the past 7 days. That's a total of like 36,000 people, assuming it's not the same individual watching my videos over and over again. That's incredible. That's incredible. And I thought that when I reached this point, I would be extremely grateful. And don't get me wrong, I am grateful podcast, right? But I'm disappointed as well. And the reason for this is because the videos that did so well were all clips from my recent episode with Rabbi Manis Friedman. It will be linked below. And in that episode, we talked about the role of ancient wisdom and the role that religion plays in the modern world, and the declining religious affiliation of members of my generation, but the increasing spirituality. And I disagreed with a lot of what Rabbi Friedman had to say. And this is because I'm not a religious individual. And going into the conversation, I knew that our opinions would differ. And I was okay with that. If anything, I was happy with that. I love talking to people with differing opinions than me so that I can grow and I can expand my horizons on what I think, and I can expand my perspective, because it would be very naive to think that I know what I'm talking about. And that is where a lot of people seem to disagree with me. Because although his videos obtained probably 18,000 of those views last week, they were not all positive views. I got over 150 comments of people with some pretty horrible things to say, and hate coming from all angles, toward all angles. Anti-Zionist, anti-Semitic, Zionist, all these different just groups that were really, really hating on the videos. And not necessarily towards me, a little towards me. But it's not about me. It's about the fact that I'm appalled that the viewers were so negative. I'm appalled that the most attention I've got yet seems to be mostly negative. And yes, this is 150 people that decided to comment out of like 20,000 people. So it's not everyone, right? It's not a completely negative thing. And of course, I'm going to focus on those 150 rather than the 19,800 others, right? But still, it's a painful feeling when what I'm trying to bring to this podcast is mutual understanding. My whole goal with the episode with Rabbi Friedman was to show people that although we can have differing viewpoints, and like I said, there were some things I really found kind of crazy that he said, but I didn't confront him in the moment, because I wanted to listen. I wanted to hear. I didn't want to interrupt with my preconceived notions of what's wrong and what's right, because everyone feels differently about those things. And I'm not sure if there's an objective truth. Rabbi Friedman does believe that there's objective truth, and I found that very interesting. It's not every day you get to speak with a religious figure from any religion actually, but especially as an atheist-leaning agnostic. It was a very, very interesting conversation to have, and I hoped that many people who aren't quite sure of what's right and what's wrong could listen to that and hear another opinion and have some more data to go off of when trying to make the decision of what they choose to believe. And it's sad to me that the internet took that and it spun it on its head, completely 180'd it into giving it 20,000 views of negativity. And again, it wasn't all negativity, but the internet thrives off negativity, and it's not new to the internet. Human beings are very hyperfixated on extremes, and the internet just exacerbates that behavior, that tendency, because it's so easy for the extremes to get attention. I just wish that something like this could go viral. Like, I posted a video the next day from another clip from the podcast titled "Why Religions Are More Similar Than We Think." And it was with me talking to Rabbi Friedman and saying that I hear what you're saying, and it sounds very similar to Buddhism in this way and Christianity in this way. Trying to bridge that gap again, because there's so much hatred towards opposition. In America, you see it very, very prominently in politics. There's just extreme division. And I know everyone says that, and I'm not saying anything new here, but we're so quick to believe we're right and someone else is wrong. I just think it's a really good practice to listen to what other people have to say with the intent of understanding. And it's just really hard on the internet when you have people hiding behind these accounts, especially on YouTube, where no one's ever going to post. So they have nothing tied to their identity, and they can say whatever the hell they want with no consequences. It's my goal to make positivity go viral, because I am absolutely done with the hyperfixation on the worst parts of life that so many people transfer on the internet and then into other people's lives. Because if we want a better society, we need to focus our attention on the things that provide us value, lift us up, bring us together, instead of putting other people down and exacerbating division every chance that we have. How are we going to build a better society if the internet is just this place where extreme views and anger are just propagated? We're not. Because that's where people are spending most of their time these days. That's where people are getting ideas and information. So it's just sad to me. And I know I don't normally say things negative like this, but I think it just reinforces in my brain that what I'm doing is something that has to be done. Bringing positivity onto the internet is something that has to be done. I'll say it again. I want to make positivity go viral. I want one of my videos like this, or like the "Why Religions Are More Similar Than We Thought," or "How Gratitude Can Change Your Life," or any of these videos that are providing this countercultural, but crazy that they're countercultural because they're just so simple and effective and straightforward. These messages that make sense and are refreshing in a culture, in an internet landscape of lies and division and just extremes. I'll keep coming back to the word extremes. Everything we see on the internet, we think is commonplace because we see it over and over and over. But it's just the top 0.1%. And that's just, I'm making up that stat. I don't know the percentage. But the goal in that sentence is to prove that what we see on the internet is not what we see in everyday life. It feels so foreign to us. And that's why I think we're going to start to see an alienation from social media. We're going to start to see a disillusionment. And people are going to I believe, and I'm not sure what the timeline will look like on this, but I believe that people are going to start to come back to the things that fulfill them, to make their lives feel purposeful and whole, because they're going to realize that that's not going to be something that they find on the internet. It's not going to be something they find when they open up Instagram in the morning. They won't find the connection they want, because people are drifting further and further apart despite all of these countless tools that are supposed to bring us together. They just continue to drive us into, like, continue to drive us apart. It feels like they're filling up this chasm and just spreading them in between each person. I don't know if you guys, if my listeners, you're familiar with the concept of entropy, but the universe is constantly drifting apart, right? And one day everything's going to be so spread out, it's not going to seem like time even exists anymore. And to a much lesser extreme, it feels like that is what the internet is doing with individuals. It seems like the internet is driving everyone apart, and it's going to do this to the point where there's such a large chasm in between people, it's really hard to feel any real connection. We need to combat this, and I'm not sure if if I'm taking the right approach by trying to feed positive content onto the internet, or if the real solution's off the internet. Again, I'm not sure. I'm just trying to do what I hope will provide a very necessary solution to a very crucial problem, and it's going to be at the root of everything. It's going to be at the root of everything. If everything is just driven off this hatred, it's gonna go into a perpetual cycle, because hatred feeds hatred, fire feeds fire. The only way to stop it is with positivity. In some way, I think that the attention I got on the rabbi's videos could be very good, because I'm getting a platform. I gained 80 subscribers this week. Like, let's go. That's 80 new people that might be able to watch this right now. If you're watching this and you came from those videos, thank you so much. 80 more people that could hear this message of being grateful for what you have right now while trying to make change in the future. 80 more people because of something negative. So my goal is to flip that negativity, flip all of that hatred, and turn it into positivity, turn it into something that will actually make a real difference in people's lives. Imagine if all these people that get these clickbait views for just fueling people's feuds and adding gas to a flame. Imagine if all of a sudden these creators started posting things like, what are you grateful for today? That would just make such a difference, and people would be surprised. People would be angry. People would be upset. People are addicted to this fire, this anger that they get to let out on the internet, because algorithms are perfectly designed. Perfectly is a stretch, but they're designed to feed what keeps you engaged. And so if you are engaged by things that rile you up, which there's no shame in that. I am too sometimes. I have to catch myself. I'll go down the rabbit hole, like all of us do. But if you're engaged by that, and those people that are engaging you with that then start to just post positive content, that would be such a big deal breaker. Oh man, what a good idea. I should just reach out to people. If you guys want this week, well, I'll reach out to at least 5 people. I don't know how many people listen to these solo episodes. I don't think it's that many. We might have like 50 listeners. So if 50 plus me, if all of us reach out to people, we'll get like 250 people that are feeding toxic news or negativity into the world on social media. And we'll write them, hey, you should post something about being grateful. And if even one person does it, it'll make a difference. So let's try that. I'll reach out to 5 this week, 1 a day, 1 a weekday. You guys should do it too. Let me know if you do. Shoot me a DM on Instagram or comment down below, whatever. I would love for, going on another note, I would love to have more connections with my listeners, with my audience. So, comment something down below if you liked it, or if you want to hear more about something, or just shoot me a DM or an email. I have my email in the show notes down below. I want to have a connection with you guys, because again, I'm trying to combat this disillusionment that we feel on the internet. The people you see on the screen are real people. That's one of the biggest things I've learned podcasting. When I'm talking to these people with hundreds of thousands of followers and millions of dollars and businesses and influencers or ex-monks or spiritual leaders, I realize that they are just also human beings. We are all human beings. I'm a human being. And you guys listening, watching, you're human beings. I want to maintain a personal connection, and I know as I grow, it'll become a lot harder. And I still want to try, because that's what's going to make a difference. If I, in the world, and help me grow, people want to feel heard. People want their voices heard. People want to feel seen. They want to feel like they have a voice and they can make change. And I want every one of you to know that you do have a voice and you can make change if you try hard enough, and if you are true to yourself. So reach out to me. Let me know how you think you can make a change, how you think I can make a change, because we're all in this together. We need to shift this negative landscape into positivity, because that is how we are going to change the world. Positivity will change the world. Trust me. It's not getting attention right now. It's being overlooked, but we can change that. The little things matter. Every time you smile at someone on the street, every time you say hi, every time you say thank you to a cashier, have a good day, makes a difference. Just know that. All right, this was a good conversation. I don't think I can call it that. I'll just talk. Good episode. There we go. That's it. Thank you so much for listening or watching. For those of you watching, you can always listen. The episodes come out 3 hours earlier on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. For those of you listening, you can always watch. And yeah, they come out a little later, but you get to see my face. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what you think, but I think the facial expressions are really important, especially when I'm interviewing guests. You can tell it's a lot easier to understand what they're trying to say. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in today. I would request that you send this to one person you think could use it. Send this to one person who you think's rooted in that negativity of the media and all that, and needs to get out, make a change, and spread positivity, because that's what we need. And also just leave a review down below if you like this episode. It really helps. When people go to a podcast and they see reviews, it makes them want to click on it more. So if you want to help me out, that would be huge. Leave a review, please. Only if it's a good one. If not, you can just DM me, but don't leave a negative review. That would suck. Or go for it if I really deserve it. All right. I'll stop yapping. I'm releasing an episode Wednesday with Raghunath Kapo, ex-punk rocker, ex-monk of 6 years. Very cool guy. Saturday, I have an episode. I'll keep that one a secret for now. I'll see you then.